Welcome, everyone, to Voices of NCAJ, the podcast for the North Carolina Advocates for Justice. I am Amber Nimocks, your host and Director of External Affairs for NCAJ. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our Circle of Leadership Gemstone level members for supporting NCAJ's mission and this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see a list of Circle of Leadership firms at the end of the podcast. To find out how your firm can join the circle, go to ncaj.com/circle. I'm starting out today with two guests. One is friend of the pod and NCAJ Governmental Affairs consultant Chris Nichols. Chris is not here today to talk about governmental affairs. However, he is here in his capacity as recipient of NCAJ's 2025 Charles Becton Teaching Award. Chris won the award last year in recognition of his longtime contributions to NCAJ's continuing legal education programs and his leadership in the North Carolina mock trial program. As it is February, we are in the thick of both CLE and mock trial season. So, Chris, we really appreciate you taking the time to be here. Welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot, Amber.
And you can check out all the CLEs NCAJ has on tap to help you meet your CLE requirements this month at ncaj.com/events. Chris is going to fill us in on those in just a little while. But first, we're going to welcome real live mock trial participant Sam Circosta to give us an update on how things are going out there in the mock trial courtrooms. Sam, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
So, Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself. What grade are you in, and how long have you been participating in mock trial?
So yeah, hi, I'm Sam. I'm a current senior at Broughton High School, and this is my fourth year actually competing with mock trial. I started off my freshman year and just have stuck around ever since. And yeah, it's a little sad to see it go.
Wow.
Sam's my team captain.
Oh, okay. So what made you walk through the door of the first mock trial meeting and sign up?
Well, so the funny story is I actually had a trip for my uncle's wedding the day of my first ever mock trial meeting, and so originally it wasn't supposed to happen, but a couple of friends informed me that the people who were presenting the next mock trial meeting were the former state champions, and when I heard state champions, I was like, "Oh, sign me up!" And that's when I decided to stop by, and I have stuck with it ever since.
Cool, awesome. And so you guys just you're coming off a big competition this first weekend in February. What was that and how did it go?
So yeah, we just finished up the first competition of the whole ladder systems and championships of the mock trial universe. This was our regional competition, and we competed at the Raleigh District Courthouse, which was really great. While we didn't make it to the regional finals, and that means we can't advance to the state finals, we did a really awesome job. Overall, just an amazing performance from both of Broughton's teams and just everybody involved. And it was just a fun time.
So your mock trial days are now come to an end then?
Yeah, hasn't really hit me yet, but it appears so. It was kind of tough, really, kind of walking out of that last courtroom and just being like, man, this could be the end.
Oh, wow. Wow. Looking back, I guess, yeah, you've got a lot to process. What was your favorite part about being on the mock trial and taking all these instructions from Chris Nichols over the years?
Yeah. So, I mean, for context, I compete in a lot of like competitive based high school extracurriculars. So, not only do I do mock trial, but I am also part of our speech and debate team. And I'm a part of our school's DECA chapter, which does, CTE related competition events in a kind of a similar fashion to mock trial. What stuck out to me and what's been my favorite part about doing mock trial is it's the most team like event that you can do without, having to go work out and get on a field or do anything like that. For a lot of the stuff I do, it's fun, but it's very, individual focused. Whereas with a mock trial team, it's critical that you work with people with different viewpoints and who ultimately want to accomplish the same goal. It's also really helpful that mock trial program put so much effort into just making sure the competition runs smoothly, that there's clear rules, and clear expectations of what you need to do, and really easy and helpful. They've established kind of certain guidelines that help bring in new people very easily. And overall, it's just really nice, fun, easy program to just get involved with.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's so huge now. There's so many kids involved, and it's like such a labor of love for all the volunteers that dedicate so much time to it. They get as much out of it, I think, as the kids do, I would say. I would guess because they keep coming back
Oh, for sure, for
and
sure.
doing it year over year. What are you doing now? You're a few months from graduation. What are your plans?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to think about it too much, but I've heard back from some of my colleges, and it looks like next year I'll be studying economics at the University of Michigan. I'm very excited about that. But
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. But as it goes for kind of the rest of my career, I'm still trying to see how everything falls out. I'm going to try to draw on some of my, past experiences, especially those mock trial ones, and just kind of map out, what I'm doing.
Well, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
The great thing about mock trial is, we're not necessarily training lawyers; we're just training leaders, and that's what Sam has been for the last 4 years. And really, he's kind of held it all together. When you've got two teams, 16 people, everybody's got 100 extracurriculars. Sam did a really great job of kind of keeping us all on track and getting practiced and things written up. And we had a tough draw in our second round. We went against the team that last year was 11th in the nation from North
Oh, wow.
Carolina. They're really amazing, but it's an elimination round. So, only one team's going forward, and we got the very hard one. We'd had them the year before in the regional round too. So, it was like our national championship on Saturday.
Yeah, only one team can win, so I'm glad that you were in there for 4 years, though. That's a real testament to the experience that students are having as well, if you kept coming back when you had the opportunity to participate in so many other things, so we're glad that you did.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, best of luck to you, Sam. Thanks so much for being in mock trial and for being on the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Hey, thanks for coming, Sam. I'll see you Thursday for our debriefing.
That's right. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
alright. See ya. So how long have you been doing this? I mean, like, your whole legal career, right?
More than my legal career. I actually started coaching when I was a second year law student at Wake Forest. I didn't really know what NCAJ was. I just knew that I wanted to coach a team. It seemed like fun. I did it in high school for 1 year, and I thought it'd be neat to continue. And here I am, 32 years later.
Wow. And
Yeah.
and you were able to coach your daughter when she was at Broughton, right?
I was, yeah. She graduated from high school in 2019. So I actually coached her middle school. There was another program that did middle school mock trial, and then followed her to Broughton. And Broughton had a team and they'd sort of stopped doing it. So we revived it. And that team is still going now. So I guess it's the 10-year anniversary for me of starting that up this last competition.
And how many I can't keep track of how many teams there are now or across the state. Do you know off the
So
top of
we
your head?
had, I think it was 120 teams competing this year. There were
Wow.
actually some teams that were not able to compete because we didn't have enough slots. So the way it works is all of the teams compete on the same Saturday for regionals across the state. So this Saturday was, two in Raleigh. We had one in, Greenville, just, spread across the state. You could probably smell the tension in the air. It's a
People
really nerve-wracking thing.
so there was the Duke Carolina game, and that was, that was kind of tense,
It was
but
pretty
really
low
there
key,
was
actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was.
cool. So what about this program that keeps you coming back for 30 plus years?
Well, you just saw it. It's like kids like Sam. Their enthusiasm, their ability, watching them grow, to see a nervous freshman come on and leave a confident senior. It's always surprising. I mean, I think any trial lawyer who's tried a case knows that, trial is terrifying and exciting all at the same time. And mock trial is exactly the same way. So it's a lot of work. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't say I don't do it alone. I have two co-coaches, Tanya Malik and Dale Stevenson. They're both attorneys. All three of us work together, and I have a high school teacher at Broughton, Laura Lineberger, who also, makes sure that we're following all the school rules and things like that. It's a labor of love for a lot of people, and that's true for every team. There's no team that does it with just one coach. It takes a couple people to get it done.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great day. NCAJ has been, intimately involved in this for years, and it's exciting. I get to go sometimes to the state finals and take pictures of the teams. It's really great to just see the kids, all dressed up like little junior lawyers in their suits and, like get their come out of their rounds and line up for photos. And you can just, it really they really do seem like they're learning so much. And particularly I appreciate what he said about teamwork. There really are there not a whole lot of places where kids learn that kind of teamwork outside of the athletic field, you know? I mean, I think that's really
Right,
special.
most of the kinda, like, intellectual sports are sort of individual to a large degree, and when they're doing these trials, you've got 3 lawyers and 3 witnesses, and the lawyers are passing notes back and forth to each other, and, if they get an objection from the other side, they might be handing a piece of paper to their co-teammate to help them argue that objection. It's really fun to see, and particularly when they start off the year going, "Hearsay what?" And then at the end, just this last weekend, one of my kids who was a brand new mock trialer, first time, there was an objection to hearsay, and the judge said, "What's your response to that?" And he was like, "Well, hearsay is an out of court statement offered for the truth of the matter asserted." And it was just amazing to see that change.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, NCAJ has been doing that for as long as it's been around, so I guess for 3 decades and continues to support it financially, as well as with so many members who do this as their volunteer work, so it's great to see.
We've got a lot of volunteers, but it's been great to see it expand too. The state bar has been a great supporter. Chief Justice Newby is a big supporter. It's a heavy lift for everybody, and so I would encourage people who support mock trial with their time, their efforts, and also their money to keep doing it because it is a great program. And the civic education of it is amazing because one year it's a criminal case, one year it's a civil case. This year's case had to do with a doctor who may or may not have inappropriately prescribed opioids to someone who may or may not have needed them, resulting in their death. And so it's topical. It gets the kids talking about things, and there's probably never been a time where it's more important to talk about what the Constitution means and what it means to be considered innocent until proven guilty and things like
Yeah.
that. So we're practicing it, but we're playing it out in real time.
Yeah, and any way you can make that, make issues like that relevant to high school students, make it seem real, that's really key.
It's great when once you do it for a little while and start talking to them, then they'll start arguing with each other about it. About the rules of evidence and about the principles behind the rules of evidence, and that's when you've accomplished the goal because it's become part of them
Right.
as opposed to just this thing that they memorize.
Right, and they're doing it, like, live and in person with each other and not, via Instagram or, on social media, where you can
Exactly. It is a social media free zone for that
That's
moment.
awesome. Well, I'm sorry that your team is not proceeding, but I guess that does give you a little bit extra time because you've got a couple of other things coming up on your schedule in February, education-wise for NCAJ.
January, February are busy months.
So on Friday, February 13th, this coming Friday, and the podcast will probably be out after this CLE takes place, you will have a full house. This thing is sold out. The UIM Unpacked CLE. It is sold out in person and it's just going to be very well attended virtually as well. And then anyone who is interested can look for it in the NCAJ on demand catalog, but not until March. So, what is it that you will be talking about as part of this program on Friday?
Well, even though you said I wouldn't have my legislative hat on, I will sort of have my legislative hat on for that because I'm talking about the new UIM laws as well as sort of the overlap on raising the minimum limits, sort of the legislative history of how we got those rules, and then how they fit into the statutes now and how they move forward. We've got a lot of great speakers, and one of the things I think it's going to be really good about this seminar is we're bringing in a panel of arbitrators who are frequent arbitrators: Walter Burton, Kevin Elliott, Mike McDaniel. And those are people that get picked by defense lawyers. They're people that serve as neutrals. I've served on panels with them, and they're going to be talking about their kind of direct practical experience as an arbitrator to help us understand how to be more persuasive in arbitrations. So that
Cool.
alone is worth the price,
Awesome.
even on replay. Yeah,
Even on replay. Well, on replay, yeah, you can, like, slow down and listen to it again, so that's
exactly.
good. And then February, of course, is packed, because it's when everybody is remembered that they need CLE. I think it's on February 20th, we have the DWI program coming up. Now, you are not on the DWI bill this time, but you have been on this many times in the past. This is Bill Powers' DWI program.
Yeah,
What can CLE folks or CLE takers expect from this program, you think?
this is always a great program, and I've participated a couple times. The Bill's asked me to sort of talk about the civil side of DWI cases and how criminal defense lawyers and personal injury lawyers should really be cooperating. But for this particular one, we're still focusing on DWI, but Bill's got Judge Chris Brooks coming in on DMV revocations, a Superior Court judge, Judge Osmond from Mecklenburg County, to talk about jury selection, professionalism. Let's see, John Hutchins and Michael Neese are going to talk about, do the case law update. Ron Shook, who's one of our members and is a lawyer who does a lot of work with firearms rights, is going to talk about the impact of criminal convictions on that. We've got a prosecutor coming in, Chad Smith from Gastonia, to give their viewpoint, which is that's always the best when you hear your opponent's viewpoint, right? And
Right.
then Warren Savage is going to wrap it up with the ethics of criminal law practitioners from our longtime supporters, Lawyers Mutual.
Right. Everybody loves Warren. He's a fun way to end the day, even if it is ethics.
I so much love talking to Warren. I've kind of adapted his hairstyle. I mean, I kind of want to be so much like him. So
Well, everybody wants to be like Warren, so I
yeah,
guess
exactly.
anyway.
I'm trying to get Bill Powers to shave his head for this, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I should have told him that we would put that on social media. He might have done it.
He
He's
might
done
have.
a
It's true.
lot of social
It's
media for
not
this.
too late, or we'll have to have video effects come in.
And then we're gonna round out the month with the incredibly popular disbursement CLE. And this one you were talking about Medicare disbursements. Is that correct?
Medicaid.
Medicaid. Okay.
I'm the Medicaid guy on this one, and Medicare, it will be Julie Bell, who is our, long term. We can't say expert, but highly experienced person with Medicare. So
Right,
no,
right.
I think the thing about the disbursement seminar every year is that it's important to go to because the laws keep changing. It's the one thing that everybody who does personal injury has to deal with on all their cases. Someone always wants a piece of the settlement, and our job as lawyers is to follow the law but make sure that we maximize our clients' recovery. And that's really what this seminar is about, is to make sure you know what to look for on the lien issues and then figure out the best way to lessen their impact and make sure that, particularly when you don't have enough money to go around, that everybody gets a fair share. So some of the folks on that one, well, Julie Bell and Laura Newton are the co-chairs. Joe Tunstall is going to talk about verdicts, costs, collection, minor settlements. Paige Palkey and Tacker LeCarpentier, who's also one of our sponsors from Settlement Planning Services, are going to talk about that. And Amber, minor settlements are always like a landmine because
Oh,
you
really?
wind up going into court and they're different with every judge, and it should be a simple thing because everyone's in agreement, we're going to get this case settled. But it seems like every time I go to one, there's something new that comes up that, has everybody scratching their heads. So that should be great.
And Tacker is just wealth of information on, like, how these things work out, you know? I mean, I remember being here late on a Friday afternoon when I had just started. I think I was fairly new to NCAJ, and Tacker was doing a Q&A to wrap up the CLE, and I figured we'd be out of here in 45 minutes, and those folks did not want to let him go. He could have stayed here all night answering questions.
Tacker has definitely seen it all, and he's been on both sides of the V. He's an attorney, so he gets it and is a wealth of experience, which is really important.
Yeah.
And then John Moore's talking about work comp liens. Jenny Maynard and Courtney Mann are going to talk about medical provider liens. Lauren Newton is taking the hard one. She's going to talk about ERISA, which is always fun. Julie,
Aren't
I
you
think we
usually
talked.
the ERISA guy? You got out of it this year, huh?
I no, you frequently I talk about Medicaid. I do get a lot of ERISA questions, but
Okay.
the thing about ERISA is that it's such a gray area in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of opinions about how to handle it. That it's always an interesting and sometimes controversial subject. So it'll be fun. And Medicaid, the one I'm talking about, because Medicaid program keeps changing. We used to just have state-run Medicaid, and now we have these LME, MCO, locally run kind of proprietary Medicaid programs. It's changed the way it works. Julie, and then of course Mark Scruggs from Lawyers Mutual, who is the opposite of the balding aspect. Mark's got his beard and his good hair, which I respect, but it's not as cool as Warren's haircut. Mark's going to make sure everybody gets a dose of ethics.
That's true. You would never mistake Mark for Warren or Warren for Mark. That's, despite the fact that they are often they are hardly ever seen together, you know.
That's true. I could think about like a beard and a hair thing. We'll see
Yeah,
if I can pass as Mark Scruggs.
they're
Yeah,
probably not the same person.
probably not.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Chris, for all of that and for being part of all of these programs and for being on the podcast and for everything that you do for NCAJ, whether in your role as educator or government affairs or just as supportive teammate. We really appreciate you.
Well, thanks, Amber. I mean, I will definitely say, I always say this about mock trial. I get more out of it than I put into it every single year. There's always something inspiring, and that's really true for NCAJ as well. I mean, it's not always fun to teach a CLE. In fact, I need to finish up a paper right now. But once we get it all together, it's always great, just to come together and all of us, talk about what we do and how hard it is sometimes, but why we do it. So.
Great.
It's gonna be a great January, February of CLE.
Yes, absolutely. Listeners can find out more and register for the CLEs Chris is participating in this month or any of the other great CLEs NCAJ is offering at ncaj.com/events. And to find out more about mock trial and how to volunteer with the North Carolina mock trial program, go to ncmocktrial.org. Before we go, I'd like to thank today's episode sponsor, Advocate Capital. Advocate is passionate about helping plaintiffs' attorneys get better results for clients, mainly through their AdvoTrack case expense funding service. It allows firms to track case expenses and recover borrowing costs, which makes the net cost of borrowing zero on cases they win. Learn more at advocatecapital.com. Thanks everyone for listening, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to this channel.